Hey y'all, I'm BlckBudderFly. I had an amazing time here on Drill TV. This was such a beautiful conversation. Can't wait to come back and have more conversations and increase my network to increase my net worth.
Welcome to My First Time, the show about your first time getting high on marijuana. I'm your host, Mike Freeman with Dro TV. Today, I'd like to welcome our guest, Ebby. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How you doing today, Mike?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for coming on Dro TV today.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You can find more of Ebby on Instagram and LinkedIn. She's got a lot going on, so we'll have the links in the description below. So please let our audience know where you're located and a little bit about what you provide for the cannabis community.
I am located here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Um, I'm more on the ancillary side. I'm a pastry chef. I actually came out here to work in the cannabis industry, be a cannabis pastry chef, work with candies and chocolates. And I transitioned into the CBD realm. And now I'm more so working on my business, which is 828, where I provide CBD desserts, baked goods, sweet potato pies, key lime pies. That's one of my best sellers with the sweet potato pie. That's the one that I can't leave at home. And I provide that for cannabis events, private events. I cater, not even just cannabis events. That was where I started, and the cannabis community here has just completely taken me in. So I feel like even if it's just providing just desserts, non-infused, patient to patient infused desserts, if that's something, I like to help those with specific ailments, if that's some research that I can do. So I also host events. I do a little bit of everything. So so when people ask me what I do, I just feel like, I'm just here to, bring the people together.
Excellent. Awesome. I We were talking before and I wasn't aware of all this culinary background of yours as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
So just one other thing, Abby, that's awesome. So thankful there's people like you out there that have many different skills that you're providing for us in this community. So we thank you for that. And before we get more into what you have going on, because you have a lot going on, I want to touch on a lot of these things while we have some time here. The show is my first time. So first, we want to hear about the first time you got high.
And I'm being honest with you, it took me a few days to remember the first time I got high, and this because I started using cannabis at like 13. So
Okay.
that's like quite a ways to remember back. But I want to say like it was in my room in my mom's house, and we like hot boxed, and I just remember having the munchies real crazy afterwards. And I honestly remember that it's been like the best time ever of me smoking, because it's like it's so new. You see everything. It's kind of like trying shrooms a little bit. Like everything is like, oh my goodness, I've never noticed any of these things before. So
Sure.
I smoked with one of my cousins that lived with us, and I want to say it was a cool time. I just went straight to sleep. From what I remembered, I was like, I laughed at Family Guy,
Okay.
and then I went to sleep. So I had absolutely no complaints from that day on. I was like, I like this stuff.
Nice. So you hotboxed your bedroom
Yes.
and mom, did she know what the smell was
I
or
don't know. She says, well, I don't know, because I was smoking for at least a year or two before it even became a problem. Like, I swear I came home one day and she's like, we're going to get a physical. And I'm like, it's not volleyball season. Like, we're going to get a physical. She was taking me to get a drug test. So,
Oh
like,
wow.
I was in there for like about 2, 3 hours. I was like putting toilet water in the piss. Then I put like sink water in the piss. I was doing everything not to take this drug test. So by the time I took it, I'm pretty sure my piss was clean. So she could never pinpoint me on it. But I don't know. She's never said anything about it. Now she knows I'm like, that's my child that smokes cannabis. She's going to always smoke cannabis. But no, she never, at one point, it was like, this is a gateway drug. And eventually it was like, okay, she's not drinking. So it
Yeah.
is what it is. Yeah.
I wonder too, I'm 40, so my friends have teenagers, right? Their
Mhm.
kids are teenagers. And I think some of them, it's almost like denial. They don't want to admit that, their kid or their child might be smoking. So maybe it was a little
Mhm.
bit of that. Maybe she thought you were doing it, but it just took all that time for her to say, well, maybe this drug test. Did you pass the drug test?
She never told me. Like I never,
Oh,
when I say I
interesting.
never heard anything else about it, like I was just like, oh my goodness. So like I just had a heart attack for like months and she never told me what happened. Like I should ask. So to this day I never asked.
Sounds like maybe she was like holding a guilt trip over you or something, you know?
Yeah, because I mean, I didn't learn till later that like my dad, even though like he was in the military, like our family has always been, they have always been cannabis users. So it was kind of like you knew it was kind of, I was born with it. So why, so it was like, all right, you know what? I'm not even gonna fight her on it no more. Like that's something she get from her daddy. So it is what it is. I was like, okay,
Nice.
yeah.
What you smoking on there, Abby?
This is from CJ's Cannabis. It's Mac One. It's pretty nice. I was
Nice.
smoking a little bit before you called, and it's kind. I've been in the kitchen all morning, so this was like my first time getting to sit down, get off my feet, and actually, be able to enjoy a joint. So I was like, I gotta be able to, That's why I was like, does he allow consumption on the show? And I'm glad you do.
100%. I don't know what weed show would not encourage consumption on it. So,
You know, I'm going to. I've been to a few events out here where you can't smoke inside, and I'd be so sad. I'd be like,
yeah.
what's the point? You know what I'm saying? But I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
In a way, I kind of understand inside only because, like, my girl and I, this is our house. She doesn't want me smoking in here. Before we bought this house, she lived in my house. So I smoked in any and every room I wanted to, you know. So
Mhm.
uh
So it's
the
different.
outdoor events that don't let you smoke, those I'll never figure out. But
Yeah, and it's like we're just here. But I mean, hey, I can understand the education also,
sure,
wanting to get outside the recreational, settings
sure.
kind of.
So what were you chefing up in the kitchen there?
Today I made some, what was it? Orange cranberry cookie cake, but it's vegan and gluten free.
Okay.
And I also made a pumpkin chocolate chip one. And then I'm working on some what am I working on? Apple pies, so mini apple pies, mini sweet potato pies. It's a busy weekend. So me let me do this. This is a great opportunity because we have the Stoner Olympics is what I have on Saturday, which is hosted by the Underground Collective. That's
Okay.
just, we come and we just do fun games. They have vendors come out. Then on Sunday, I have Home is Where the Weed Is, which is by How Hopes Events. It's more of like an event to bring more education back to cannabis, and she's an advocate for mothers with children with autism. And then on Sunday, I have one of my events, which is the Plant Intentions event, where you come and you can plant your intentions on the full moon, bring your favorite herb. We have sound bowls. So it's a full weekend.
Very cool. Is it called Puff and Plant? Is that what it's called?
Yes, puff and plant intentions. Yes.
Awesome. I recently got into, I just built a garden, and so I'm like, oh, is this like you walk away with a plant? But no, this is planting your intentions.
Yes. So
Okay.
you can actually write down and set your intentions on seed paper, and then you fold it up, and you can paint a pot. However you're feeling, we just kind of leave it open to however you want to, how you're feeling in that moment. Because last time everyone was off in their own space, and it was more of like a therapeutic type event, and those are the events that I like to host because they're breaking the stigma of cannabis and cannabis events. It's not just we're sitting around smoking. It's like we're actually setting intentions, and after that you can plan it, and then you can network and just chill and talk to your peers, take it home, watch your plant grow. And then with the new moon coming in, it's just getting preparing yourself for a new season. And then the sound bowls is it just adds to the healing process because of the vibration. I just love sound bowls because not just put them on in the house. So that's something that we wanted to bring. So before it gets cold, we're gonna host one of our last ones outside. So I'm really, really excited for that. And that's on Sunday at Motherland Tulsa. We also take it to different places, different dispensaries if they allow us. Last time it was by a waterfall. So it'll be at Motherland Tulsa this time from 6 to 8 on Sunday.
Awesome. Excellent. I love the planting intentions. I like that phrase, especially it's proven things of most successful people. They write down their goals, their
Yeah.
intentions, and
Hmm.
um, so that's great. It's even better than I thought. I thought you were giving away not necessarily weed plants, but like something for people to grow at home so they can
Yes.
see something grow. But this is just the same. So
Yes.
excellent. Awesome. Great stuff, Ebby. Now, all this stuff you were making earlier, all these desserts, were these infused or is this just straight dessert?
No, they're just straight dessert. Here I'm more so on a patient to patient basis if I do cannabis, like so it's if patients bring me their medicine, then I'll make something for them and I'll send it back to them. But no, this one is non-infused. I am gonna do like some little cute little apple pies, and I want to put like a weed leaf on it. I'm gonna see how it turns out. I've been experimenting, but I got all the mini stuff, and I'm really really excited. So far, I just got like the sweet potato pies and the cookie cakes that I told you about. But now I gotta make the apple pies, so I'm excited.
Well, you certainly sound very proud about the stuff you make. Are you constantly sampling your own stuff?
Yeah, that, and when I come home with stuff that I don't sell, I have a bad habit of eating the sweet potato pie. So I'm really working on, figuring out how to not come home with stuff. So,
There
but
you go.
also working into creating more healthy things so I don't have to worry about me sampling or, working it off a little bit.
Sure, sure. Yeah, especially Halloween's coming, Thanksgiving's coming, Christmas. This is like the overindulgence season is on its way, you
Yeah,
know?
I know, man. I've been thinking about that a lot. Like what I'm also, I want to, because I also make like cilantro teas, which are a kidney detox. And it's not just cilantro, it's other things like burdock and juniper berry that pretty much helps with kidney detox. And this also helps for females that may have trouble with their cycle. So it just relieves just a little bit of like the emotional stress and the pain and inflammation when that time comes. So also looking into other avenues to still be able to offer these desserts at in a healthier way. That's one of the reasons why I do vegan and gluten free. And people be like, this isn't, no, this no, ain't no way. I'm like, I know, I'm a baker. So at the end of the day, I'm still gonna try to make sure it tastes good and not like plant food,
Right.
It is plant food, but I want it to taste good too and not steer you away from it.
Awesome. So what's your background in culinary? Is it something you went to school for? Is it you watched mom in the kitchen and she showed you how it's done or
I didn't realize it till I got older. My grandma was a home economics teacher.
okay.
So I watched her a lot. I remember watching my aunts. Now that I like sit down, I remember watching them make banana puddings and make all of these things. And I love sweet stuff. I can remember every sweet dessert from being younger that I liked and baking in the kitchen. And I decided to go to culinary school. I graduated from Le Cordon Bleu with a associate's degree in baking and pastry. So I've been doing that for going on, I would say, because I was in culinary school in high school. I really was smoking weed, and I was like, I'm gonna have the munchies. So why not be in,
Hey,
why not be in culinary arts class or
sure.
something? Like it's perfect plan, right? And I actually ended up falling in love with it. So like as soon as I got out, I was like, why wouldn't I? And yeah, so it's just been a part of my life, thus far. But I'm starting to like kind of love doing events, but everybody always like, do you have any pie with you? You got some pie with you? I'm like, oh my goodness. So
Yeah, that's your calling card, right?
I know, man.
Hey, everybody, I want to quickly mention food forest abundance. Food forest abundance is a great way to create your own self sustaining food forest and naturally occurring ecosystem that's commonly found in nature, but designed specifically for you. Through multiple layers of trees, shrubs, herbs, vines, rhizomes, mushrooms, and perennial vegetables, you can become your own supply chain without the typical maintenance required of a garden. From small spaces to large areas, both urban and suburban, Food Forest Abundance wants us to get back to our roots in nature by engaging with our food production in a meaningful way. For more information, click on the link in the description below and start your journey today. Okay, let's get back to today's episode. Awesome. So you recently became an ordained minister?
Yes. Yes.
How'd that happen?
Honestly, I don't know what I might have been like watching TV or something and looking at how it was stigmatized that, getting a pastor or having a wedding in a church and then the LGBT community and all that. So I was just like, I wonder, like, do people get uncomfortable? Like, do they ask their pastor to leave so that they can consume cannabis and drink after their reception, for their reception or at weddings? Like, what if there are more spiritual people that feel like, oh, I really like, can you come in here and pray with me before but I'm also smoking weed in here at the moment and I don't want you to get offended. And I was like, what if somebody actually offered that and it was I'm cannabis friendly ordained minister. I'm not worried about what it is that you have going on. If you're smoking, that's your thing, but I'm here for the union. So that's why I got into it. I mean, of course I got pushback, but gotta, just make decisions for yourself sometimes.
Well, God gave us this plant.
Mm-hmm.
It's here on this earth for us to consume. We know all the medicinal benefits of it. So some of the friends and family I have that were like super religious, and I would just say to them, the Bible was probably printed on hemp paper at some point. And
Exactly.
so if you believe God put everything here for us, and he must have put this cannabis plant here for us. And
Exactly.
if it's not something you can overdose from, I mean, you can pretty much consume and consume and consume, and maybe you fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Like how terrible can it be for you? So uh
yeah, that's a whole conversation in itself because I had
yeah, it
so
is.
many
It
people,
is.
like, so many people. I actually had more people like, oh my goodness, this, like, that was the most shares I've ever gotten, like, out of my whole like process, like in this journey on this cannabis career. Like, everybody was like, oh my goodness, this is like amazing. Thank you for doing this. But I had a few people that was like, you're contradicting yourself. You can't, be of God and talk about God and this and be out here, you're not supposed to hold the Bible and smoke. And I'm just like, man, but nobody talks about alcohol and tobacco being out here everywhere and advertised to our kids and the jewels, so it's a conversation that sometimes I'd be like, okay, I don't think I want to debate you because I know how I feel, and I know my relationship with God, and it's exactly, he created the plant. All this man-made stuff that we continue to worship, we don't want to talk about that though.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, a couple chemists in a lab, and
mm-hmm.
yeah, that's
So
okay.
yeah, exactly. Or big pharma. Because I mean, there are medicines that help, but like, I do understand. But if it's a whole conversation, man, I'd be so passionate about it because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, they rather push pills on us. Go to the doctor and say I'm having a mental problem. I'm having, man, so many of my doctors be like, do you want an antidepressant? Like, I'm what? No, I don't. I don't. I don't want to depend on some medicine, but yeah, give me some 1906, a 5 milligram pill that has a little bit of upper in it and it's a little sativa and it helps stimulate my mood, So
Right. I've learned in my 40 years of age that debates, especially now where everything's so politicized and polarized and everybody's got to pick a side on something, you can't, it's like two things can be true at the same time.
mm-hmm.
uh and I've just learned where it's like it's not worth debating, but instead I usually ask questions where I say like, well, didn't God put this here? And even though most of the time you're not going to change that person's mind right then and there, you just ask the right questions, and whether it's today, tomorrow, next week, maybe they think about that question, and maybe they realize, maybe it's later on in life. We see a lot of politicians are against
Mhm.
whatever it is. And then all of a sudden it affects them and their family, and then they change their mind. Um,
Exactly.
so I've realized, especially I volunteer with a lot of teenagers, just ask questions and get them to think about it. And uh, sometimes that's even better than debating, because then they end up debating themselves, really.
You are right about that. Cause I love it now. I remember when I was in 10th grade and I said I wanted to be in the weed industry. My grandma was like, "You'll never make it in this industry." And now I just be answering all the questions and she tells everybody
Yeah,
about it. And so you're right about that. I can agree with that. Ask questions and be okay to educate,
yeah,
every once in a while.
yeah. uh So, Ebby, I wanted to talk to you about your experience as a Black woman in Oklahoma. You said you came from Georgia.
Mhm.
Um, so, talk to us about, uh, are there many differences from where you were in Georgia to Oklahoma? And just tell us a little bit about your experience. How long have you
Um,
been in Oklahoma? I'm sorry.
Going on 3 years in
Okay.
January. Yeah, so about 3 years. Oklahoma is different because in Atlanta or Georgia, it'd be like you go there and it just be like, oh, okay, this is cool. There's so many Black people. And then you come to Tulsa and it'd be like, where the Black people at? Like, or where everybody at. But like if you ever come here, you'll just see like it's so many people say it's just so divided because there's been so much hurt and so much differences here. Is still divided, and Oklahoma is still 10 years behind. It was quite a culture shock. I was the only Black woman at my job for look pretty much since I was let go a couple of weeks ago. So well, they hired one more other girl, but it's been a process. So it's been a lot of teaching, it's been a lot of crying and deciding if I want to be this person to help open up doors and be in rooms where sometimes it's only just me and my colleague Jasmine that helps me, that we do the puff and plant together. Sometimes it's just us in those rooms, and just create it's been a journey. And sometimes I ask myself, am I gonna write a book about it? But I can honestly say, like, Oklahoma has a program called the Tulsa Remote. So it's a lot of people that aren't from here right now. So I
Okay.
literally came right before the pandemic hit. And then my therapist, she was like, go to Tulsa Remote events. So I started meeting people that it wasn't just me, that was just like, okay, so other people are got to get to know each other. We got to network. But the weed industry out here is like, it's up and down. It can be messy, it can be cliquish. A lot of people are coming from out of town, so it's like really big money, and the small businesses don't matter. So I would say it's been a well fought battle. I've been enjoying it because I mean, BlckBudderFly, everybody knows me as BlckBudderFly because it's like I'm doing pop-ups, I'm getting myself out there and really just trying to be a face, be somebody that's willing to bridge the gap, have the conversations that no one wants to have with the community. Because I mean, I'm a military baby. So I was taught to kind of like see everybody, love everybody. We have so many different people, like races in our family. So I do feel like that's my calling, but it has not been easy. It hasn't been easy. And a lot of times I'd be like, I don't know if I want to do this no more. Me and Jasmine, every week we say we're getting out the cannabis industry. And I always find my because it's so fun. It is so, like, to go, and as hard as it's been so exciting to look around and be like, oh my goodness, I can like smoke cannabis in public. We're smoking inside.
Sure.
We're changing, there's kids around and nobody's looking at us crazy because we're medicating the kids with them. We're educating them on the low dose stuff. Like it's been so much different. I can't just say it's one thing. So, but so far, I'm proud of what I've been able to experience and the people I've been able to meet, because even though the cannabis industry out here is cliquish and it can get nasty and it's up and down and there's a lot of tokenism going on. And if you don't know what tokenism is, that's like taking a person of color and using them on like your platform to like gain those different followers and help benefit your company, but sometimes they don't always reap the benefits of what your company is reaping. So it's just, yeah, that's what it has been. But I mean, hey, everything happens for a reason, so that's what I'm here for.
Hey, and without struggle, right?
I know.
How can you persevere? You sound very grounded mentally and spiritually. What are some of the things you do to not, I guess, kind of go crazy thinking about all this stuff? It sounds like you have
Um,
great friends. I know you said a therapist.
yes, I'm in therapy. And look, don't let I sound grounded, but look, today, honestly, today was a rough day. You know, it's like now, like I said, I'm a month out entrepreneurship, like full-time entrepreneur. So it's like you gotta hustle and grind. But praying and the village, like, I'm usually the poor, and I just didn't realize how many people believed in me. And like this time, a lot of people have poured into me and just reminded me, like, everything that you give back is going to come to you, and you just got to keep going. And if you give up now, you'll never forgive yourself for giving up. So, and listening to Les Brown, somebody just introduced me to Abraham Hicks, doing yoga, crying, like just telling myself it's okay to cry, it's okay to rest. And honestly, God has got me through a lot. Like, I know people always say, you gotta get right with God. You can't be doing these drugs and not be, but I don't believe that. God has got me through my journey with cannabis like so much. And yeah, so go to therapy. Therapy has helped me so much. Like, so much. And just and thinking, because I'm not being honest, I struggle with mental, I sound grounded. I struggle with depression, like on an everyday basis. And going out and meeting people, talking, doing stuff like this helps remind me I have a reason to be here. Because these battles get hard, and
Sure.
battling suicidal thoughts is a real thing, and it's not just you sometimes. Like, so just talking about it and being honest with people, being vulnerable with people, like, oh, I know I seem like I got it together, but no, I was just crying yesterday and my mama had to check on me because I just sounded like I was gonna give up. So that's what gets me through. It's just being honest about this journey of mine.
Yeah, I think having somebody that you can confide in and talk to, and even somebody to just listen so you can pour out these feelings you have, um, that goes a huge way uh, for your mental health. And I, I'm sure there's a lot of people, they always say the gram is what you see the finer things, right? And always what's
Yeah. No,
flashy.
it's all fake.
But yeah, we
Yeah,
don't, these are the real conversations. This is
exactly.
the stuff that really goes on. So,
And I really try
um,
to be honest like this with my followers. Like everybody that I come across with, I'm gonna be real vulnerable. So if you follow me, this is what you'll always get. On my bad days, I still try to show up and say, hey, it's a bad day, but I'm still showing up. So, that's what we just gotta be. And I hope to create spaces for just that, to talk and have more conversations like this.
awesome. Well, Abby, you're definitely doing your thing. I'm sure there's really hard days and there's really great days. And I think one of the reasons I said you sound grounded is you sound like you know how to focus on the great days and the things that, like you said, happen for a reason. 828.
Mhm.
Um, so um, we're always here if you ever need somebody to talk to.
All
And
right. Thank you so much. This
I'm
was this was a pleasure. Thank you for reaching out. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I'm sure the people that are going to be watching this as well, they're going to start following you. And I'm sure we'll make some new connections and hopefully, we'll increase our network to increase
Yes,
our
we
net
will.
worth. And
Yeah.
then,
I love that. Yes,
you
increase
know,
our net
and
worth, increase our net worth.
yeah,
Yeah.
community is huge, especially this cannabis community. There's so many shapes, sizes, colors, persuasions.
States. I'm so excited. You're in
Yeah.
Florida, right?
I am. Yeah.
I can't wait to, I'm excited to start getting out and seeing these other states and seeing what their industries look like.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, Ebby, it was a pleasure speaking with you. Congratulations on all your success and many blessings moving forward as well.
Likewise.
Let everybody know the best place that they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at BlckBudderFly. That's BLCKBudder. You can find me on LinkedIn also. Make sure you look at my bio for my link tree.
Awesome. And we'll make sure all the links are down below as well. So definitely go give Ebby a follow. And for those of you watching this on YouTube, go down there and hit that like button for Ebby. Amazing all the things she's got going on. And I don't think it's stopping here. I think you mentioned writing a book in the future. So I'm
I'm
sure
gonna do something. I gotta keep myself going, you
yeah,
know.
the entrepreneurial wheels are turning. So
Yes, it is.
that's
It's a
awesome.
big thing. I love entrepreneurship.
Yeah, many props to you. And for those of you watching this, obviously you got to go smash the like button for Ebby, but also you need to subscribe to Dro TV because you'd miss amazing guests like Ebby. So thank you again. And that's it for today, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, smoke them if you got them. What's up, Dro TV family? You can now stream the audio version of all these episodes on your favorite podcast player. And if you like more episodes like this, check out this playlist we put together over here for you. And if you haven't already, subscribe to us on YouTube. You don't want to miss more great content from Dro TV. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, smoke them if you got them.